Welcome to another episode of 50 Shades Grey. Thank you for joining us. So we are here for the second episode of joining our three now lovely ladies that are following their journey through midlife dating. We are going to introduce you to one of our new guests, and that's Ali. Ali, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
We introduced you to the very hectic WhatsApp group this week, and you were met and introduced to everyone, and they're lovely ladies, aren't they?
Oh, hilarious. It's been great. For the couple of days we've been chatting, we've had a bit of a giggle. So, yeah, all good.
Ali, can you fill us in, first of all, just a little bit about you and what your situation is at the moment?
Yeah, so I'm 46. I've been single for about 18 months now. I've used online dating since I was in my early 30s. Most of my relationships from 30 onwards have been as a result of meeting somebody online. And I think, I live in a small town, so it's quite hard, I think, especially as you get older and all your friends are older, they're married with children. It's quite hard to meet people organically. And in terms of work, I worked in HR for 20 years in the city in London. And that was quite good. That was a really good social life. And then I ran my own business. So I was standalone for 6 years. And all I met during that, because it was a woman-focused business, all I met was women. So I've just started a new career, complete change. I'm now working as a housing manager for a retirement complex. So now I'm just around older people all day. So, for me, online is the only option.
So because you've been essentially came up through online dating,
yeah,
have you adopted a slightly different attitude to what, say, Jules and B may have? Because obviously people find it very difficult. But if you've been on it all the time, do you find yourself a lot more hardened to it now?
I think so. I mean, don't get me wrong. I wear my heart on my sleeve, so I can't change who I am, but I have had to change how I react to certain situations. So I think it's just a completely different world to what it used to be when you'd meet people out and about, that I think there's a lot of options, and sadly it's become a bit of a numbers game. And I'm the Bridget Jones of dating, and I don't want to be, I really, really want to be in a long-term relationship and spend life with someone. But unfortunately, it just hasn't happened for me. So yeah, I guess I am a little bit hardened to it. I don't take things so personally anymore, and I spot the red flags a lot quicker, and I'll be quick to cut somebody off, as I have done this week. If something's not going the way that I want it to go in terms of getting to know somebody, and they're not my type of person, then I end it there. And I'm not scared to do that. Whereas I think years ago, I would kind of entertain some of those kind of conversations that you don't want to be having, because I don't know, I think I've changed my perspective. So I guess I learned to love myself a lot more and have that confidence, and know that actually it's not about whether they're good or I'm good enough for them. It's about whether they're good enough for me. So not entertaining wasteless conversations with strangers that right from the start you can feel in your gut won't go any further. So yeah, I guess, I don't know if harder is the right word, but a lot more savvy, I guess, when it comes to online dating.
So we'll have a little catch up of where we all are from this week and from last week. Jules, what any developments from last week on your dating?
I've got a date on Friday. So we'll see how that goes.
And how did that come about, Jules?
That was through I'm on Bumble.
Yeah.
It was just, obviously it's the ladies that instigate it. So you sort of like, if you like them, he obviously already liked me. So as soon as I sort of swiped right, then it's sort of a match. And then we got chatting. But for me, I don't spend too long texting. I just want to meet as if you have met that person organically. So you have met them face to face for the first time. So I don't like to have the to and fro messages. So as soon as that I could meet someone, so that you get to see them face to face, you get to see their body language, as I said before, then that's the natural, as close to the natural organically way that you can meet them, that you can get. It's just like you said earlier, it's just treat it like a meeting, first of all, because that's what you're doing. You're meeting, and then if you get on, then you go for dates.
So, Jules, just talk us through how many messages did you have? Was it the asking about jobs, or just talk us through from start to date?
I'm a bit of it wasn't so much what do you do, anything like that. I'm a bit more of a banter. I'm more of a fun sort of innuendo sort of thing. But that's how it was. He likes dancing. He's a social. He's a family person. So those sort of things tick the boxes. So it was very short and sweet. As I say, I don't want to delve into all the about his job, too much about him, because that's what I want to find out when I meet him. We'll get to the second drink, perhaps. I don't know. I'm looking forward to it, but I'm comfortable in myself. And I think that's probably a lot of the expectation. If you are happy with you and where you are, I think you approach the dating scenario completely different to if you are perhaps newly out of a relationship and you're sort of wanting to meet someone, you're or not desperate, but you really want to, you get let down a lot easier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then just move on to the next one. Not as it sounds, but you do have to do that, I think, with online dating.
Yeah.
He's treated like, right, that hasn't worked. What's next?
Yeah.
Because you're not that you're always looking, but you're always open. And I think that's the way to approach it, is
That's
try and be
absolutely.
open to
Yeah.
more opportunities. So B, how about you? How's your week been?
So I might be unique in how I do this. So remember in lockdown and people were like, I've completed Netflix. That's me. I've completed Bumble. Sat on Sunday and I just went, shoot. Completed it. There's no more. I'm out. I've either got to move my age range or I've got to move the mileage, and I'm not. That's what I want. That's what I'm looking for. So
I've been there.
that brought us down to, like, it's very satisfying when you get to the end and it says movie filters. No, I will not. It's like your sat nav's really bossy. No, I don't want to go that way. No, Bumble, I will not do this. So got it down. So 2 men had matched at the same time. So I was like, okay then, right. So we'll just wait then. Sent a message. Nothing. And after 24 hours, it just drops off. And I'm kind of like, were you cooking your tea? Were you were you on the tube? What was happening? Were you just filling in time? Because if you've taken the time to go, yeah, I think that might be something there, and then you don't do anything after 24 hours, that blows my mind. Like,
Yeah.
were you filling time?
The only thing, B, with Bumble, and it was a long time since I was on Bumble, but you've got no idea of their timestamp, have you?
No.
So they could have done that 2 months ago because you went on a marathon swipe. Like, you could have got down to sort of the last few, and they could have done that actually 2 months ago, I think.
But
No.
after we all spoke last week, I deleted it and started fresh.
Right. Okay.
So they have no excuse. That was definitely, I'm on the tube, I'm waiting for the dog to come back in out from the garden, like whatever they're doing. And then I had one guy, and I was like, hello, sailor. So messaged him, he's messaged back. Seems okay. So there's some messages being exchanged, kind of nice rate, but we'll see where that goes from there. And then I had one today just pop up, and I actually thought it was a big con off Bumble. I thought it was like, they were like, you know when it says, hey.
Sorry, I wondered where you was going then. Who's the
I
accent?
had one pop up today, behave, and it said somebody wants to see you, and I was like, give over, man, because it's a bit like when they say there's 50 people waiting to like you. Are there? Really?
Yeah.
Why have they got no facial expressions? Why are they just a blur? Why is Andy 41 from Durham just a blur? Because it's not real. It's not real. So I looked at this guy and was like, hello, yeah, okay. Shaped like a triangle. You'll do for me. We'll start with that then. Messaged him, and he instantly deleted his. And this is the only thing when you're doing messaging now. Like, for my personality, I'm a little bit cheeky. sometimes. And if you don't really know us, you probably think, who on earth is that? Actually, she's mental. She's a mental case. I'm having nothing to do with her. I mean, it could be something
Can I
different.
ask what your message was?
Do you know? So he'd actually sent the first message, and it said, "I see we've matched. Hello, my name's Bert.
Well,
Name's changed to protect the innocent. How are you?" And I was like, "Well, hello, Bert. This is reassuring to know that I've actually matched with somebody. I thought it was Bumble trying to do some sort of marketing ploy. Gone.
Yeah, that is
Gone.
frustrating, isn't
Yeah.
it? When they
I'm not
disappear.
worried. I was just like that. Bleh. All right, then you're
Yeah.
lost."
I've had this conversation with girls before. That first line, whether it's the guy's first line or the girl's first line, is very hard because I've heard girls say when I've chatted to girls, like, I want to be blown away with the first comment. What? Can I not just say, hello, how you doing? And a lot of girls go, if anyone just says, hello, how you doing? I'm deleting them. When was that a thing?
Harsh. I mean, as long as I'm not getting
I'm a little bit
a
like,
dripping aubergine coming into my inbox, I'm all right. I'm like quite happy to crack on and talk to you. You're all right, pet. I'm fine.
So,
I
so
do
Ali,
get,
have you got a clean slate? Or are you talking to people at the moment? Or are you dating anyone? What's going on?
I reactivated, I closed all my accounts down or put them on hold. I hid them, whatever you do, before Christmas. I just think Christmas is a rubbish time to try to be doing dating. So I've reactivated 2 accounts, so Tinder and Facebook dating.
What? I am today years
It's not
old.
what
What is Facebook dating?
Facebook, yeah.
I didn't know. I know that when we've had conversations, you've mentioned Facebook dating. I don't use Facebook, and I
Yeah,
wasn't aware of Facebook dating. So can you fill us in
yeah.
on Facebook dating?
So it's kind of got the same look and feel as all of the sites. You have to match with somebody before you can have that conversation. But for me, I mean, you have to be on Facebook, so you can't join it unless you do actually have a Facebook account. And nobody on your Facebook knows you're doing it. So it's not like all your friends suddenly know you're on a Facebook dating site. They used to have a part of it where it could highlight potential matches for you that were in your friends' contacts. So, for instance, if Jules and I were friends and you had a whole load of single people that were also on Facebook dating, it would kind of highlight that, and it would say it's like a mutual connection, I suppose. So,
Yeah.
and I've done that before, and it was kind of quite handy. So, a guy I dated before Christmas, as soon as I saw he was friends with someone I know, I kind of got on a message and I was like, "Hey, what do you know about Ernie? Let's call him Ernie."
You can
And
get a reference in.
yeah,
That's
and I
Milkman
kind
in
of
the
liked
West.
that. What was that?
Milkman in the West, Ernie. That
one. So, yes, that was quite good because I felt like I had the heads up from somebody that I could trust. And they kind
Yeah.
of said, he's a really good guy. I think you guys could be a really good match. We weren't a really good match, but it was kind of, I don't know, it really kind of took away that I don't really get nervous on dates because I do just see them as a meeting. And I think because my job before was interviewing in HR, kind of, it sounds awful. It's a bit like an interview, isn't it? Because you're learning all those things about somebody. But I went along to that date feeling, I don't know, a little bit ahead of where I felt I would be because somebody already knew him and somebody had already
Yeah.
given me a bit of a lowdown. So yeah, Facebook dating, it's okay. It's not the best one. I'd call it the most gentle one, if that makes any sense. I think you get a lot less of the kind of one night stand type people on there. And yeah, and the other one is Tinder. So I've just reactivated Tinder. And I know a lot of people go, Tinder,
Mm-hmm.
isn't
Yeah.
that for hookups? I don't agree. I think I see the same people on all the sites. So if I was to go onto my Tinder account now and look within, I don't know, 20 miles of where I live, the same people will be on Tinder that are on Hinge and on Bumble.
Yeah.
And there was one stage when I was on Bumble, Hinge and Tinder, and it just got silly. I'd match with people on 3 different sites and I'd be like, hey, I think I've just matched with you on Bumble, and they're no different. Tinder's got a reputation, I guess, but I don't find it any different.
How are we feeling about dating at the moment in terms of yourselves? I do find it's ups and downs sometimes. So are we all in positive places or, are we not completely feeling it? B, I see you do a sideways glance in. How are you feeling at the...
I'm kind of like, I'm not really expecting anything from it at all, if I'm honest. I am one of those people who had the love of my life sort of thing. And, you know,
Yeah.
if I'm never in another relationship with anybody else, then at least I had that one. And I think as well, I took me hits where I took it really quite personally early on when I first started using apps. And now I'm kind of like, I think I'm out of hope now. I don't think that anything will happen, but you know, I've got a good life. It would just be nice. That's all. I don't need, and I said this last week,
Yeah.
I don't need anybody. It would
Yeah.
just be nice. So, but if I'm honest, I'm not in the slightest hopeful that anything will come of it at all. Oh God.
I
That sounds
mean,
like you
you
need to
have
get out like
to.
the smallest violin, doesn't it? Like,
I think you have to believe in it though, because I think if you lose hope, then you've kind of already set yourself up for failure. Oh, I feel really sad for you.
I'm like
Yeah.
loves
Yeah.
biggest supporter. I'm like the biggest
Yeah.
hopeless romantic, and I'm like love's biggest cheerleader. Love. I get really upset when marriages break down. Like it hurts a piece of my heart that like when people's relationships don't work out. So I don't give up on love itself. I just think that maybe I've had mine and that's it, and that's okay.
I've got friends that say that. Yeah.
Jules, how about you? Hey, are you feeling positive because the date Friday then?
Yeah, I again, like you were saying, B, I've sort of had a few dates and I've had a few relationships, and I think your expectations and what you're looking for, they've changed for me. The boundaries have changed. Whereas I'm very happy when I first came out of the relationship, as I said, I was sort of wanting to meet that person, and your boundaries that you have with regards to the distance, with regards to how deep you want to get into a relationship, whether you want to a full-on relationship or so, it changes, and it's changed for me. Whether I'm happy, again, I'm happy in what I'm doing, I'm happy with my job, so I just want someone to enhance my life.
Mm.
That's what I'm looking for. I would love to meet someone that isn't needy, because you know a lot of guys are, and I'm sure women are as well. You know, I don't know if it's from your side of things, Elliot, but a lot of guys are needy and they are on their own, and they are literally expecting you. You know, they'll message you and they want to. You know, you read it, you might be busy, read it, and then put the phone down. Think, oh, I'll sort that out later. And then they're sort of, well, why haven't you replied to me? I don't need that, and I don't want that. But I would love to have someone in my life that compliments me for where I am at the moment.
I also think with dating, you've got to use your analogy, you've got to enjoy jumping over a few hurdles and knocking them over, because I think that's half the fun of it.
Absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
I
Absolutely.
think maybe you're not going to find someone straight away, but you can have good fun if you were dating for 10 years, you can still have a look back and go, "Do you know what? I've met some great people. I've had some great fun."
Yeah.
And maybe that would sort of better than just being with the same person all the time for an individual.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm friends with a few guys that I've met on dating. I still sort of chat to them. It is hard out there, but it has changed. I think the whole dating side of it has changed big time, especially
I
with
think
the
as well,
online
though,
dating.
Jules, I don't know whether you agree with this. I think as we all get older as well, it takes a village to make any sort of relationship, because you do have, you know, when you're younger, your friend circle is massive and you've got all these social groups you go to. So you might go to, I don't know, netball, and you might go to, I don't know, like a drawing class, or you might do all of these different clubs that you go to, which it gives you all those friend circles. And as you get older, just naturally, those connections get smaller and smaller. So the person that you're potentially going to be with is possibly looking to you for all of those other connections. They're looking for you to be kind of their carer, their therapist, all these different things. It's a bit like being a fitness professional. You're never just a fitness professional. You are a life coach. You are a marriage guidance counselor. You are a physiotherapist. You are all those things. And I think for men and women, so not just men, I think for men and women, that village has suddenly kind of like got a lot smaller, if not disappeared completely. So I think people are just naturally, without necessarily knowing or wanting to be, people are just a bit needier when they get older.
Yeah.
I want someone that's going to be my number one, you know, what I'm looking for. Call it
Yeah.
Prince Charming, whatever you want to call him.
Jules. I think it's, and I don't know, Elliot, if you'd agree with this, I think women are so much better at maintaining those social circles. So if you've been in a long-term relationship, I can't remember ever giving up on like my circle, my close friends. And I don't think any of my girlfriends really have. Whereas a lot of my male friends, when they've been in a long-term relationship, they've kind of lost track and they've ended up doing things, or a lot of things, with perhaps the woman's friends, going out for dinners with their partner's friends, and they've kind of lost their friends. So I find a lot of the guys that I meet that are in their late 40s, early 50s, don't have much social connection. They might have a best friend, they might go to football every now and then, but they don't have that kind of, I meet girlfriends for coffee all the time. If I wanted to go out during the week, there's always somebody about, there's always something to do. And I find that a lot of guys lose those connections as they get older because they've just become, I don't know whether it's just...
I'll be honest, it hasn't been my experience. It's probably been the other way around, to be honest. And I think I had this conversation on another podcast that I did. And I think where women more often than not are at home bringing up children, it's not always the case and it's changed, but I think they get a lot more isolated than men do because they're still going out to work and maintaining relationships. And I think it has changed a lot. And I think a lot of what you said was right, all apart from the drawing class, because I've never met anyone at drawing class at all. I obviously missed
That's
out
where
on
you're
a
going
big...
wrong then.
I missed out on a big market.
That's why you're single. That's where you're going wrong.
That's what I should have done.
Get yourself to a drawing class. Get yourself to
Let's
a
all go
live
to a
drawing
drawing
class. You're welcome.
So the last thing that I want to just talk about is quite personal, obviously, and it's about your own insecurities with dating. But what are your own insecurities with dating that you may have?
I think it's quite a big one for me in that I broke up with my ex for 18 months ago, and I've always been a really, really confident person. I've never had trust issues. I've got a great social circle, and I don't need someone in my life. I just like someone in my life.
Yeah.
And we'd got to the stage where he was ready to move in. His children had a room at my house, young children below the age of 5. So I thought I'd found my person, and I found out he had somebody else on the side for 18 years, all through his marriage, all through the mother of his children. So it took me quite a while to kind of get back on that dating scene and feel confident that I was going to meet somebody that would, honour that kind of trust and openness and, not lie to me. And then I kind of went on a series of dates where every single guy I met, I don't like to go into too much detail about my past, and especially on first dates, but I'll always say, leave cards on the table, if there's still an ex hanging around or anything like that, just be honest. I'm here to meet my person, so I don't want to waste time. And do you know what? The next couple of guys that I went on dates with all did the same. They'd all lie about something. So I'd been on like 6, 7 or 8 dates with a guy, and it was only when it was my birthday and we planned to go to London and we decided we'd go from his house, where I'd never been before, I found out he was still living with his wife. And to go through that again, yeah, and he told me that it was over and that they were just living together as friends. I don't believe that, because once somebody's lied to you, and I only found out through a photo that he shared of a night that he was going out to his mum's 70th, and he was in a tux, and in the background of this photo there was a whole host of women's birthday cards, and I knew that his ex's birthday was 2 days before mine, and I didn't even notice, but I was showing my friend, and she said, Ali, why is there loads of women's birthday cards in the background? And I was like, is there? Zoomed in, and I confronted him about it, and he just went silent for 48 hours and then came back with this huge apology saying, I didn't want to tell you because I know it's something that you wouldn't have seen me again. And I said, yeah, of course, I wouldn't have seen you again. But that was information you owed to me to tell me from the start. The one thing I asked for is truth. You don't know somebody when you go on your first date or your meeting. You can't have expectations on what someone's going to bring to the table. But the one thing I do have an expectation on is being truthful. And it happened again. And I was like, why am I meeting these men that just want to lie? And the next guy had said that his marriage had broken down and he'd been single for a year, because I've got a big thing about, I don't want to go on a date with a guy that's just come out of a long-term relationship. They need to do that work on themselves. So my biggest insecurity is every time I've been on a date and it's somebody that I've actually built up a really good rapport with, we've been on a number of dates, I just find out this big skeleton in their closet. And I don't know how I miss it, because I ask all the right questions, I'm very open, so I like to have deep dive conversation. So that's my biggest fear, is just being lied to again. And I've got to put that behind me, because I know not every guy is like that. But I think I've just had a bit of a bad run of meeting these guys that just can't be genuine and just can't tell
I
the
think
truth.
with that, Ali, I don't think you can beat yourself up, because you don't know what you don't know. And if someone's not going to tell you it,
they're not going to tell
you're
you.
not missing anything. They haven't told you. And the only way of finding that out is by doing what you're doing and getting to the stage where you do find out. And like we said before, just
and then you have to move
on.
But it's just frustrating, because you invest time. And I think in a busy world where we've all got things going on with our jobs and our family and friends, it's so frustrating to invest that time in somebody, with dates, weekends away, whatever, when you're first getting to know somebody, to then find out that actually you've just wasted that time.
Yeah.
So I guess it's not an insecurity of mine. It's not an insecurity I'm carrying. It's just a fear of, is this the world we live in now, where people don't feel the need to be upfront and honest about their current situations? So I think, that's kind of mine.
Jules, how about you?
Two things. One, I'm sending you the biggest boob crushing hug. And two, send me all the photos, because I'm like inch high private eye. I'll find them details.
Are you the detective for? Yeah, you're going to do all the digging for me.
Find out anything.
Love
I can
that.
find out your inside leg measurement in about half an hour.
So Jules,
how
about you? Any insecurities? Because you seem like you're quite confident in yourself. And
I am a confident person. I think it's also insecurity. It's probably more annoyingly insecurity is my age. I find, because of the age I am, my ex-husband was 10 years younger than me. I seem to attract younger guys, but I've got a hang up on it. I know I'm the age I am, and that's it. And it doesn't mean anything to me, numbers, but it is to me. It is a thing that sort of, not say time's ticking, but I think to myself, well, sometimes I think, time is running away, and time, I don't know about you guys, but the years are just slipping by. The Christmas cards will be up again. I mean, Christmas and Valentine's cards were up. So it's just that thing that hang up or insecurity. I don't know. I'm confident in myself, like you say. I'm an outgoing person, social person. I've got no problems there, but I've just got this, again, not insecurity, but thing about my age and, what guys think, or will I meet the right guy is he going to be happy with me at my age? I don't know. That's the only thing I've got. Dating, because it plays with your emotions, literally are up and down like this. And if you come out, I found that when I was very first out of my marriage, you're meeting people and literally you are on a high at the beginning, at sort of 6 o'clock in the evening, you're on a high. Come 8 o'clock, 8:30, you're literally down there, and it literally, you're on a roller coaster. Make sure you're in a good place, that you can deal with these emotions of the roller coaster, so it sort of starts slowing down a little bit, and those bumps aren't so drastic.
Yeah. B, how about you?
So I think we touched on this like the last time that we talked, and so this will be no surprise that my biggest insecurity is somebody going, you're fat and you're ugly. And that comes from, that's a childhood kind of trauma thing. When I look back, and it was very late in life that I realized this, my parents never ever hugged us, have never ever told us they loved us, have never ever told us they're proud of us, not at all. So you constantly, and I didn't realize I was doing this at all, you're constantly trying to kind of please them. And when I look back at the relationships that I've had, definitely the starter husband, the first one, he was like the school heartthrob, and I was like, how on earth did I end up with you? How did you not end up with Chloe Lawson, not our real name? How did you end up with Chloe Lawson? whose mum owns a hairdresser. She's beautiful. Why did you not, like, I don't understand. And when I look back, I spent my entire relationship trying to make him happy, giving him all of me time, never going out with friends and things. All of me time went to him, constantly buying him gifts and things, like just doing everything to like be this almost kind of like perfect wife, if you like. And then you look and you kind of see those patterns, and I think I probably, although it's so mad because I'm such a confident person in everything that I do. So I'm a confident person, but when it comes to close-knit relationships, I don't ever think that I'm good enough, and most of it, in my head, I put down to because I'm big, and I'm not worthy of anybody else's attention. So, oh, that got really deep, didn't it?
It did.
I
Do you
think,
know,
have you found though, B, that being on, and this was a lot of the point of the podcast, to be honest, have you found that being on this little group this week has helped you in some way gaining more confidence about that? Just being
No.
around other women that are in the same situation?
No, not it gives us like a camaraderie to know that like I'm not alone in the things that I come up against, like the people you send them a message and then you never hear from them again. That makes us feel a bit better that it's not just me and it's not that I've just got really bad banter. So that's good. But I think, so we'll call him Thor, the person who is kind of like on the go at the moment. I am dreading him seeing me in person because in my head already I'm telling myself he's just going to go, are you joking? Like, you are batting above your station, out of your league if you think that I'm with you. But that's my insecurity. That's nobody else's insecurity. And I think that I've had it for that long. I genuinely don't know if I can overcome it.
I can resonate with that. I've been there. I've lost an awful lot of weight, but I've definitely been in that situation and been on the dating scene. And, you know, I don't think it's just a guy thing. I think it's just people in general. Society is so judgmental and we've got so much pressure on us. And I think, you know, when you were talking the other day, B, you were mentioning about whether or not you should have a full length picture on your profile.
Yeah.
I think for me, I do now because I'm fed up of guys asking, and I've got to a place where I'm very comfortable in myself and confident in the way I look, but I haven't always been that way.
Yeah.
And I think it's a really sad place to be, but I think online dating kind of contributes towards that because you are being judged from the start on what you look like. And yeah, it's really sad to hear that that's the way you feel, because even though I can't see you on the screen, I know you're beautiful because I saw you earlier.
Oh, stop it.
And you've just got such an amazing aura, you just give off this amazing vibe. And I think any guy on a date would just be really, really lucky to be with you. And you're right that it's, I'm not going to make you cry, but and it is something you have to overcome, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, it's totally it's my insecurity to own. It's nobody else's. It's only mine. But I think it's been there for that long now. I mean, let's face it, like most women are never ever happy with their look. God, I was a size 6 at one point and I thought I was enormous. And the reality was I had a xylophone chest. And like people look at us now and go, God, nah, you look much better now than you did then. I don't.
B,
But
what about if you B? What about if you actually, if you had a good a full length shot of you that you felt comfortable having and putting on? Would that, if you had it on there, obviously the guys would see it, would that give you, and someone messaged you, okay, and wanted me, so they'd seen you and your full length, would that give you more confidence?
No, that would just
to go
make
and
that
meet,
whole
would you
thing.
make you feel?
Yeah, because I think as well, if you look at it, let's say there's 100 men on Bumble and I've got it down to 5. I'm only really interested in the opinions of those 5 people. And Thor, for instance, so he said to us, have you got any full length photos? So I explained, I was like, no, I don't have any. Why don't you have any? I was like, because I don't like the way how I look, and I'm that person who takes the photographs. And he was like, okay, then. And he was like, but would you send us one? And I took a photo there and then, and I sent it to him. That was fine. And I was fine with
Brilliant.
that. Yeah, I was fine, totally fine with that. Because in that conversation, and I think because we'd exchanged enough messages that I was kind of happy that actually seems like a kind of decent guy.
Yeah, I think you need to get to the stage as well, be in those conversations where you do need to rip the band-aid off a little bit and save yourself the time and just go, look, that's me. If you don't like it, do one.
Yeah.
You know, and I'll move on and you move on. But that saves you turning up and then going through that experience as well. But I think you're right. You need a certain amount of trust, first of all, because that tells you more about the guy that you're going to meet as well.
Yeah. And guys have those insecurities as well.
Oh God, yeah.
I've been on dates where guys have explained their, you know, body issues or insecurities, something about the way they look. And, you know, I think we all worry little bit too much, because if those people don't like the way they look, then they're not our people. You need to be with somebody that loves you for who you are. And of course there needs to be attraction, but attraction comes in many forms, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, I wouldn't be scared about putting the pictures out there.
I think this is the main point as well. Dating apps are sort of primarily visual, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And they're not advanced enough not to be that way, because that's the first and main impression that people get. And unfortunately, we're not meeting people where people will get to know you rather than what you look like, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ladies, we're coming to the end, so thank you for your honesty this evening, because it's been really touching. My biggest insecurity for myself is my drawing, and so that was quite painful bringing that up, and that's why
We want evidence.
I never went to drawing club, and so I've obviously missed many dates.
I genuinely thought you were going to say something heartfelt there, and I was like, oh my God, he's going to open up. Oh, bless him.
So the week in front of us. So B, I want to see how Thor turns out. If we get a meeting with Thor or a FaceTime with Thor, obviously God of Thunder.
If we get meaty with Thor.
Don't get meaty with Thor.
That's a different podcast.
Yeah, unless you want to. Meeting with Thor, that sounds like a whole episode on its own.
It does.
If you get a meeting, Jules, date on Friday. I hope it goes fantastically well for you. And you have a good time no matter what you're doing. If not, your daughters are right round the corner, so no wasted time there with your one drink rule. And Ali, are you meeting anyone this week, or are you just seeing how things go?
So no, I'm chatting to a guy, and I'm supposed to be on a date on Friday. He's due to let me know tonight whether or not he's got his children Friday night, but he's definitely got them Saturday and Sunday.
Right.
So potential date. We're talking. Yeah, we'll see.
We'll all catch up next week. I'm sure I'll hear all about it. Saturday morning, Saturday night, Sunday morning, Sunday night, and I won't sleep. But I'm looking forward to it. But guys, thank you so much for joining me. To everyone else, thank you for listening to 50 Shades Grey. Make sure you subscribe and follow, and we'll catch you next week. Take care. Bye-bye.